Of course, the pandemic has been tough for all businesses throughout this country and throughout the world. And what's the most determining factor for any business to stay afloat or survive is how they can handle themselves during a pandemic. Of course, for most businesses around the world, this has been the first time they've had to deal with a pandemic, especially the newer businesses which have been, uh, newer than, say, the flu of the 1900s. So it's been a new and a very difficult, challenging time for most businesses around the world. As a hotel, trying to remain afloat has been something that, of course, us as well as all of our fellow hoteliers on the south coast and in the country have been trying to do. Keeping recruitment at a minimum has been one of the challenges because hospitality generally as an industry is something that is very labor intensive. We're used to service with a smile, and then when you have less people giving those smiles to your tourists, it also affects the experience that they're having. We've had to have members of our team multitask. We've had to look at ways of reducing costs. The pandemic, in a way, has also opened our eyes because running a lean organization is something that you should have been doing even before a pandemic. But a pandemic has forced us to now look at newer ways of reducing our costs and increasing our revenue points, increasing our profits. So in a way, the pandemic has also taught us all to be a lot more efficient. So for us, we've been very active in getting our vaccinations rolled out with the current employee base we have here at the hotel. At the moment, with 143 rooms, we have about 220 employees on the ground, and we have ensured that every employee on the ground has had their second dose as well of their vaccination. So our team here is fully vaccinated. It is a requirement not just from the Ministry of Health and the Ministry of Tourism, but it is also a requirement that our guests want. I mean, it's something that our guests are much more comfortable with having when they know that your team has been fully vaccinated before they're serving you, even if you have COVID protocols in place. I think we've been waiting with bated breath for this news. It's been some time. The UK is one of our biggest source markets for tourism in this country, and especially even here for Diani Reef. The UK has been supporting us a lot with tourists from the UK. So for us, we're extremely happy that Kenya is finally off the red list. It's taken a long time, but at least we're finally off. At the same time, I think it's something that has also taught us to remain resilient. It's also taught us to rely on other markets. So whilst the UK had shut down earlier this year, it taught us to rely on the Eastern European market. It taught us to rely more on the domestic market. So we've opened up new source markets, but we're just glad that we're getting back one of the traditional source markets from the UK. So I think it's excellent news. It's really good. And now we also have KLM even flying twice a week from Amsterdam to Mombasa from November. So I think that these two pieces of news have really brought a lot of revival to the tourism sector in this country. Well, for us, we're not looking at Diani as Diani Reef. We look at it as a destination. We do well, our neighbors do well, and vice versa. So the first thing I'd say is, the one thing I'd like to promote is that Diani as a beach destination has been voted as one of the top 10 destinations in the world. So let's start there. Let's get the clients here to Diani Beach, and then they can make the choice as to which establishment they would like to stay in. I think if we take it as stakeholders as opposed to individuals, and if we promote the destination together as a community, I think we can go a lot further. Well, first of all, a lot has happened during COVID, and unfortunately a lot of work has stopped, whether it's in private businesses or it's in the government sector. Things have taken a bit longer than anticipated. I don't think this is the fault of any particular group or person, but I can only hope that as and when this pandemic slowly eases out, I don't think it's going to go anywhere, but at least if it eases out, then we can start seeing a more steady progress with Dong Okundu, and we can hopefully finally see the extension of the Ukunda airstrip and perhaps a terminal coming there. I think Ukunda airstrip or airport should allow regional flights to come in, and perhaps Moi Airport can continue to be bringing the international flights in, but it would go a long way if we could have the likes of Ethiopian Airlines flying directly into Ukunda from Addis Ababa. I'm waiting to see that happen, and I think the day that happens, I think we've got some even bigger success stories to talk about here.
Mzuri salama. Sawa, wasiwe na wasiwasi. Ukifika tu nitaishughulikia. Niko kwa bichi na piga picha chache. Mambo ya juu.